Hey folks, Matt Sharp here with another Pacific Angler Friday Fishing Report. We're filming for March 19th, so if it's nowhere near March 19th, click up here. This is a link to all the Friday Fishing Reports. We do it every week, so I should have something more up to date for you. Well, almost every week. We'll talk about that in a sec. This week, I've got a big one on the politics fronts for you. March is a huge month when it comes to fishing in BC. First of all, the water temperatures rise up, a bunch of fisheries start, as well as a bunch of migratory fish move into our waters, so we start those fisheries as well. But the big news is that we actually get to see regulations for the following year, aka our licenses do expire. Bad news, you will have to buy a new license come April 1st, but regulations come out. And as you guys know, if you guys have been following the channel, if you've been fishing in general, regulations in the last 2 years have been challenging, have been not really based on science, and have seemed to be in a political quagmire. Now, I've got some good news because a bunch of people have been working super hard trying to make sure that science gets in front of the decision makers. I think they've done a good job. I'm crossing my fingers that they've done enough. The decisions should be coming in the next 2 weeks. I wanted to highlight all of those that have put in the work because it's darned important. The first one is a politician named Bob Zimmer. He's been busting his butt making sure that people understand the impact that happens to the fisheries, more importantly happens to the people associated with the fisheries when these regulations are not scientific based. He started a YouTube channel and he just had a video come out with Jason Astonitis of Bonchovy. Jason is a beast in the saltwater world. He is one of the best anglers out there. He runs a great company. Not as good as ours, but still great. No, I love Jason. He's awesome. I want you guys to listen to it because Jason really lays out a lot of the ranting that you might have heard from me over the last 2 years, but he lays it out really cleanly. He's laying it out to a politician who has the opportunity to voice this to the decision makers, and it's important. I'm gonna leave links up here. I'm gonna leave links in the description. I'm gonna leave links to the back end of the report. Go over to Bob's YouTube channel. Please give him a like. Give him a follow because he's going to have more information coming up soon, and I think it's going to be really important one way or the other. If the regulations are reasonable or if the regulations aren't, we have to make sure that science drives regulations in the future, and Bob has proven to be a politician that thinks that is important. Speaking of politicians that think it's important, I got 25 more that have written letters. Again, I wanted to highlight these guys and girls because they've written letters to the Honorable Bernadette Jordan to make sure she realizes that there's a bunch of people out there that can't understand how the science does not condone a marked selective fishery. This is for hatchery fish. Now, continuing on the politics, I got a lot of politics for you. This week, Fishing with Rod had a wicked video that I really want you guys to tune in. If you love geeking out on fish science, finally, there's been a study on catch and release. Does catch and release work? Does it work specifically when we're looking at a fishery? If you guys look at data, and I've sourced that data, it's usually from like trawlers or not really sports related stuff when we're talking about catch and release mortality. Obviously you guys that catch and keep, that's great, but you guys know that there's many times we need to catch and release because it's a fish that's out of season, that is not one we want to retain, or we are practicing catch and release and we just love the fishery. This study was very interesting, very detailed, and done by people that understand fishing, scientists that understand fishing. So that's a first. I really want you to check this video out as well. I think it's really cool, really gets you a clear picture, not sugarcoating anything, of what our fishery does when we're catching and releasing, when we're catching and keeping. I'm gonna leave, again, links down in the description. I'm gonna leave it at the back of the report. I think it's important. We're gonna talk about it a bit. All right, that's all the politics stuff. I apologize. I'm hoping over the next little bit we get some good regulations. I'm going to talk about fishing this week because obviously March is a cool month to get out fishing. And this month we've got some fisheries to look at. Well, we want to look at cutthroat fishing. Alex has this beauty. He caught it out steelhead fishing, which is usually a time when we start thinking about cutthroat fishing. I'm going to talk about the Harrison. I'm going to talk about the stave. Definitely worth putting on the calendar for the next couple weeks because I think the conditions are conducive to that fishery starting. Steelhead fishing is still going well. We could use some water, and this weekend we've got some water, so that's good. I'm going to talk to you guys about the river levels and where that is going to affect us over the next sort of 10 days. Lastly, saltwater fishing is definitely worth reading out, definitely worth looking at. Now, on a fun side, I do have a more personal one for us. If you guys know that I've been doing the fishing report every 2 weeks instead of every week, which I used to do, the reason for that is I'm renovating a house. For you guys that haven't rented a house, you may not understand, but those of you who have rented a house, you know that it's mildly all-consuming, plus the fact that you're usually living with in-laws or renting a place. My in-laws are great, but it's still challenging. The silver lining at the end of the tunnel for me on this reno is that I'm building a man room, a real man room. You guys remember I had a man closet before, but this is gonna be a man room, and I just need your guys' help to pick what I need to put into that man room. I'm gonna talk about that right off the hop in the beginning of the report. All right, as always, guys, you wanna see more stuff like this, consider hitting the like button, hit the subscribe button. Let's get into her. All right, thanks for tuning in, guys. Right off the hop, I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. I am renovating a house right now.
It's gonna be fun fixing it up, you'll see.
It's been taking up a fair amount of time, AKA I'm commuting and I'm all over the place living on couches. Not ideal, but I am looking forward to our new house. And in that new house, I have cordoned off an area that is going to be the man room. And I'm pretty excited about this. If you guys didn't know, if you my older videos, you probably see my man closet that was where I was tying before. It was mildly embarrassing. I literally had to have a necklace to hold my beer because I didn't know where to put it. It was so tight. But the new place is awesome. It's gonna be big. I'm gonna be able to actually film there, which I'm really excited about. So I should be able to do weekly reports again. Just bear with me for a couple more weeks while the reno gets done. But I need your guys' advice. So I'm gonna put in a beer fridge, that's mandatory. I'm gonna put in slat wall so I can hang up all my fly tying stuff because I got way too much fly tying stuff. And what else should I put in there? I mean, I'm gonna have rod racks, I'm gonna have all that kind of stuff. Leave down in the comments if you got something in your manual where you're like, you couldn't live without. I'm looking for inspiration and just a little sneak peek at what I've got going on. I've already added the secret Scotch cabinet. It's rough work, but I'm gonna show it to you guys here. I hope you guys enjoy it. So leave those comments down in the description. What should I put in the ultimate man room? What is needed? I mean, don't be over the top. I don't have $1 million to spend, but I'm okay with a skill saw and a multi-tool, so I can probably DIY it if it's worthwhile. Now let's jump into actual weather because the week looks like it's good to get out fishing. And when I say that, we're looking at some rain on the weekend. And rain on the weekend, this is Vancouver weather. And so we've got 5 to 10 coming through Thursday. I'm filming Wednesday night, full disclosure. Friday's got 10 to 15, and then a little bit of Saturday and a little bit more on Sunday. This is good. Why is it good? Well, when we pull up BC River levels, we can pull it up right here. Let's see what I've got here. Real-time hydrometrics. This is Squamish. She's gotten low again. She's below a 2, as well as the Vedder's gotten quite clear. There's always the caveat with the slide on the Vedder that things are gonna go chocolate milk even though the water levels aren't high, but both of those systems could use a little bit of water. And when we go back to the amount of water coming, 20 mils, 10 mils shouldn't be too much. I want to be very careful with that because yes, if the side hills do loosen up where there's snow up above, we could have problems. Temperatures don't look too warm. They look nice, but not too warm. So I definitely think it's a good weekend to get out. The other fishery you guys want to start looking at right now is cutthroat fishing. Alex got this beauty last week while steelheading, and that's sort of usually what happens when it's start time to think about cutthroat fishing. The fry are out. I was out 2 weekends ago. I heard reports from this weekend as well as I was out again. The fry are moving. They aren't in high number. We really want to see that concentration, sort of the peak of the bell curve of the fry production. That's when things really go bonkers. But the fishery started. And so you want to be looking at the Harrison. You want to be looking at the Stave. You want to be looking at back channels on the Fraser. There's some really cool cutthroat fishing there if you guys want to get out and explore. The other fishery to consider is sturgeon fishing. That's coming on quick. We tend not to like to fish for sturgeon in January, February. It's cold. We give them a break. But when things warm up in March, it can be excellent. So keep that on your radar if you're planning to get out. Now, the other one is obviously the saltwater fishing. I think Jay's tuning in the written version of the report this week. Just so you guys know, we're gonna have a piece on the Stave, we're gonna have a piece on the Harrison, as well as a piece on the Squamish and the Vedder, so worth looking at in the written version, links down in the description. Yeah, it's worth getting out. Pick your poison, get out there. Lastly, on the politics front, I'll touch briefly on it. I don't want to bore you guys too much with this stuff, but it is really important. We see some massive changes that you need to take note of. If you're young to the fishery, take note of it. I've lived and breathed this, and the changes that I saw over the last 3 years have been shocking and very concerning when I see politicians not considering science and listening just to special interest groups. I really want to keep fishing. I really want my kids to keep fishing, and I think it's critical for the actual fisheries, for actual conservation, for that to continue. Big thumbs up to Bob Zimmer. Again, links down in the description. I'll throw it at the back end of the report to his new YouTube channel. Hit a subscribe, hit a like, take a look at it with Jason Asinitis. And finally, let's cross our fingers going into the regulations over the next little bit that science prevails, that Bernadette Jordan listens, please listen, and we get some access to this fishery because I think it's super important for everybody involved, including the fish. As always, guys, you want to see more reports like this, consider hitting the like button, hit the subscribe button. We'll catch you maybe next week, but probably in 2 weeks.